Hello there, everyone. Welcome to the show. It is Denise Salcedo. Welcome to Speak Now Pro Wrestling, episode 29 with myself, Denise Salcedo. And this is officially the first stream where I am only talking about AEW Dynamite and not NXT at the exact same time. And that makes me very happy because as you guys know, I have been watching each and every single show. Each and every single week, I've been watching side by side. And so sometimes it was kind of a struggle. But this time, it was so nice and easy. I got to relax and even enjoy a couple of the commercial breaks. Got to go drink some water, do something in between the commercial breaks, which was very, very nice. Also, today's episode of AEW Dynamite, top to bottom, was very, very solid. It felt very thought out, and there was a lot of really good stuff in this. Not only did they kick off the show with a banger, they also ended the show with a banger, which I, for one, am very, very happy and can't wait to talk about here today on tonight's show. Also, before we get started, everyone, for those of you who are new to the stream, friendly reminder, I do go through the entire show in chronological format. It just makes things easier. Also, this is a very interactive stream, so I do welcome people's thoughts and opinions. Send them in. Also, if you want to make sure that your thoughts or your questions or whatever it is actually get read on the stream, you can go ahead and send in a super chat. If you do send in a super chat, your comment will 100% be read on the air on this stream. And I also get to keep whatever money I make on this stream from the super chat, so they do help me out. Thank you, everyone, for coming in, and let's go ahead and get started. We have our first super chat from Matthew Makovsky, who says, best part of having two separate days of NXT and Dynamite means 2 days of Denise in a row. Who lives in a pineapple under the ring? The Pinnacle. Who lives in a pineapple under the ring? The Pinnacle. I love that. I had posted the whole pineapple SpongeBob home thing, I think last week when Jericho first made the joke of the pineapple, but I hadn't actually thought it out with the entire song. So thank you so much to Matthew for sending in this super chat and now embedding that into my head. But yes, it is very nice to have two separate shows. Even last night's NXT was fantastic. So a lot of really, really good stuff. All right, guys. So what did you think of the shows? Send in your comments. Overall, what did you think about AEW Dynamite tonight? And I'm going to go ahead and start reading some of your comments here. We have a comment from Redmond who says that this was Jericho's best match in ages tonight too. Dax is so good. I thought Jericho and Dax had a perfectly fine match, and I can't disagree whatsoever with this comment. Comment from Jake, who says that both shows were so much more enjoyable. I was able to focus, and it helped storylines, characters, because it didn't always have two shows on mute. Exactly. There were times where I would mute certain parts of each show. So sometimes I would miss something, and it makes both shows just so much more that enjoyable. Jeffrey Thomas says, heel Bucks are the best Bucks. Oh, we're going to talk about the Young Bucks today because I'm really liking the direction in which we are heading this week with the Young Bucks. Comment from Razor Gem, who says both shows, NXT and AEW, are fun. Labor Days points out that the show moves so quickly, and I have to agree with that. I looked at the clock, and I think it was already like 20 minutes left on the show. And I started thinking to myself, oh man, we only got 20 minutes left. And it felt like a very easy show to watch. But then again, it kind of always does feel that way, but more so today. Alrighty, guys, so let's go ahead and jump into everything that we are going to talk about. We are going to kick things off with the Young Bucks versus Pac and Fenix for the AEW Tag Team titles. So, I mentioned at the top of the stream that the way that AEW Dynamite kicked off today was really, really good. And the reason that I really enjoyed the start of this match, the start of the show, is really because the Young Bucks came out with this new, obviously they're heels now after their turn last week, but they came out and they felt brand new because it's been a while since we've seen, obviously, the Young Bucks, be something new, be something different, be something from what we've been seeing, the past several months. So this did feel like a really good new direction for them. My favorite thing at the top of this was really how commentary was putting over the fact that Don Callis, that he brainwashed the Young Bucks, that the Young Bucks fell for everything that Don Callis was saying, that they fell for his spell. I thought that was a really interesting way to sort of introduce them. Obviously, Don Callis ended up joining them on commentary, which again, anytime Don Callis is near a microphone, chances are it's going to be pretty fantastic. But I loved this match. So I was already expecting this to be a good match. Obviously, you're looking at who's in this ring. You got the Young Bucks, you got Pac, you got Rey Fenix. You know for a fact that it's going to be really good. But I mean, they just did so much during this match, guys. There were a lot of cool spots, like literally right from the start. There was a really awesome sequence between Nick Jackson and Rey Fenix at the top of this match, which I really loved. We also had some really great double team kicks from both Pac and Fenix. That was a really cool spot during this. But here's the thing is that they did a lot in this match, but the pace of this match wasn't entirely completely fast paced the entire time. They kind of had like different peaks and different moments. And I think that's what I really liked about this match is that I think by the time this first match was over, it was almost already 5:30. So we were already almost 30 minutes into this. So I like the fact that they extended this out. They gave it a very appropriate amount of time to tell the story of the Young Bucks. They were doing so many different heelish things throughout this entire match. And then at the same time, still incorporate, those flashy moves that we like to see from both teams. So I liked this. There was also a moment where we got to see the Young Bucks' new Dior boots. And this was hilarious because the crowd started chanting, "Those are fake. Those are fakes." I love that. I thought that was really, really creative. But again, they worked this match like heels, obviously, but still incorporating their spots that they're used to. And they really elevated this in the second portion of the match. You saw this a lot. And one of the things that I need to put over in this really is that, man, every single time Rey Fenix gets in the ring, every time I think I've seen just about it all. And I think, all right, I like Rey Fenix. I know what I can expect from him. He comes out and he completely blows my mind once again. I mean, the guy was literally flying in each and every single direction throughout this match. It was absolutely insane. Every time I thought I knew what he was going to do next, he did the exact polar opposite of this. So I just got to say, Rey Fenix is not human. He is not human. There is no explanation for how amazing he is in the ring. But let's get to that finish, because the finish to this match I thought was pretty good. Okay. So they essentially take off Rey Fenix's mask. They take it off. He's covering his face with both his hands. And so both the Young Bucks end up super kicking him. He doesn't see it. He gets hit. Bam. Lights out. 1, 2, 3. So this match, honestly, it exceeded my expectations because my expectations were already pretty high for this match, but it made me happy because I've come on here and I've said like, oh, I had high expectations for something and it didn't meet my expectations. This definitely did. Also, I thought that this was the perfect match to sort of kick off this show where they're not competing against NXT. So if there were any viewers that maybe weren't fans of AEW and they decided to give AEW Dynamite a try, let's say this was their first time watching Dynamite, I think that this was the perfect match to actually go ahead and kick this off with, because again, you're seeing all of these guys go out there and do brilliant stuff. So I thought this was a perfect way to kick off the show and also further establish the Young Bucks persona in this. So what did you guys think about this? I have a super chat. Thank you so much to Dagon as Barad, who says 2 nights of Denise in a row. Okay. Woo, he says, solid AEW show tonight. Tag title and TNT title matches ruled. Denise, thoughts on the Ivelisse situation? Based on what I have seen and based on what was reported, it just, it seems to me that it's one of those situations where Ivelisse may have unfortunately, not necessarily been, they had issues, right? She wasn't necessarily, I guess, the the perfect employee, I guess you can say. Based on what I have been seeing, it's unfortunate that, this had to happen, but looking at it, they weren't seeing things eye to eye, so it's probably the best decision for Ivelisse to essentially not be part of the AEW roster. And I mean, if you go on, you just type in Ivelisse on Twitter, I think you're going to see a lot of examples of that. Her not selling for Thunder Rosa, that clip is everywhere. And sadly, who knows? We don't know what exactly went down, but just from speculation and just from previous history, one can only guess that, obviously it just wasn't working out, obviously. But Dagon S. Broad, thank you so much for sending in that super chat. I really, really appreciate it. And we have a comment from, let's see what else we have here. We have a comment from Redmond who says, Matt doing the handspring into a back rake was a great heel touch. They did a lot of really great heel stuff during this entire stuff. Alrighty, what else do we have here? I know everybody's asking about Ivelisse, but I'm trying to see if you guys have anything else on this actual match. All right, here we go. This one's from Haj Gulashi, who says, having Bucks do the mask removal was a great way to end that match, too. Really laid things in. Exactly. I really agree with this comment as well. Stephen Kramer asked a question, says, you think that got new viewers? Come on, be realistic. I think that if somebody decided to, say, I'm going to tune into AEW Dynamite today because I'm not watching NXT, and this was the match that they watched, obviously, this was the first match, I would say, yeah, given the fact that there was a lot of incredible athleticism, if I'm a new viewer to AEW Dynamite, I would say, you know what? Oh man, the wrestling is good on here. Why haven't I been watching? So if I'm a person that already decided to maybe check out the AEW product, I'm gonna have an opinion after watching this match. And I would say that after watching this match, my opinion would be, hey, you know what? I'm gonna give this show a try. Now, this obviously may not draw in new people that weren't gonna give it a chance, but let's say somebody actually did try to give it a chance, and this was the first match they saw. I thought it was a great way to maybe convince people to stick around, possibly come back next week. So, yeah, I do think that for me, that's a realistic approach. That's a realistic answer. And let's see what else we have here. Any other thoughts? I know they're coming in here. Guys, once again, if you want to make sure that I read your comment, send it in a super chat because I do see those. Obviously, those pop up in a larger format, so I'm able to see everything on there. And let's see what else we have here. All right, guys, let's go ahead and move on. Actually, we'll read this comment from Dagon as well, who says, it totally made sense to have the Bucks do that. Classic Bullet Club shenanigans, but I've had enough cheating interference this week for a lifetime. I think that's just a pattern that we're going to be seeing throughout AEW Dynamite nonstop, because that is something that I have talked about on here, where I have said we do see a lot of post-match melees nonstop on Dynamite. But at this point, I feel like it's just their thing at this point, really. I do think that had the Young Bucks not done that turn and then they turned back a couple months ago, I do think that this heel turn would have been a lot more impactful. But thankfully, today's match and everything that they did on today's show, I thought really did well. We have a super chat. Thank you so much to Mike Lima77, who says, the Bucks are public enemy uno in Mexico now. This was a great AEW show. I have to agree. This was a really solid episode of AEW Dynamite. There is going to be a lot that I talk about on tonight's show that I thought was really hella good. So yeah, Mike Lima, thank you so much for sending in the super chat. We have another one from Kenneth Smith, who says, yay money for Denise. Thank you so much. Side note, I'm trying to get my first apartment. So yes, all super chats do come in handy. Thank you so much to Kenneth Smith for sending in a super chat. I very much appreciate this. Alrighty, guys, here we go. After this, we have a lot to talk about for this next one, and I'm going to extend this conversation out because I have a lot of things to say here. And this was the Hangman Page Dark Order segment. So Hangman Page is essentially called the #1 ranked singles competitor. So now you're probably wondering, is he going to be going for the AEW title? Is he going to be facing Kenny Omega at Double or Nothing? That's a question that we're going to ask ourselves. Personally, for me, I hope, and even though I want to see Hangman Page eventually become AEW World Champion, I do not think that if he is Kenny Omega's next challenger, that he would be winning the title. So, with that being said, I do not want Hangman Page to go for the title against Kenny Omega just yet. I really do hope that instead we see him go for the TNT title. And I've said this before and I've said it numerous times, but I really think that they should go about it that way, because when they actually get to Hangman Page versus Kenny Omega, I want it to be one of those things where it's like the passing of the torch, you know, like those big WrestleMania moments where it happened for Austin, where it happened for Batista, where it happened for John Cena, where you knew those were the next guys in line to become something huge. And so when Hangman Page does get his moment against Kenny Omega, I want it to be at the right time. And right now, it still doesn't feel that way. So I really do hope that if he's, you know, going for gold, I do hope it's for the TNT title as of right now. Now, I also, in regards to Kenny Omega and the AEW World title, I still think that they can do a lot more with him and Jon Moxley. I still think that if he's looking for another challenger or come Double or Nothing, I really do think that they can still circle back and do a lot with Jon Moxley there. One of the other options that I was thinking about here is also possibly even circling back and even doing a face Jericho versus a heel Kenny Omega, even before they get to actually to do Hangman versus Kenny Omega, because I'm also wondering, like, obviously we don't know what the circumstances are going to be, you know, given the pandemic and everything, but come All Out, I mean, the hope, obviously, is a real crowd in Chicago. And I think something like that would be more of a monumental moment to have somebody like a Hangman Page win the title. So that's kind of like where my brain went with this entire segment here. Again, I want to see Hangman Page win the title. I just don't think it's time yet. And I don't want to see him lose to Kenny Omega. Like, if he's going to face Kenny Omega, I want to see him win the title. And I just don't see Kenny Omega losing the bout as of right now. So thoughts on this, guys? Go ahead and let me know. Do you like this like train of thought of where I'm going? Are you on a complete opposite end? Go ahead and send in your thoughts on what you think about all of this. Let's see what else we have here. We have Sean Harrington, who says the TNT title is coming to Lance Archer. That is obviously something that's very probable. I think there's a lot of different opportunities that they can do, that they can go, different directions that they can go in with the TNT title. Lance Archer is somebody that could, you know, be in that picture. Miro is somebody that could be in that picture. Hangman Page is somebody that could be in that picture. So I really think that there's a lot of different opportunities that we can go there. And let's see what else we have here. And we have a super chat, actually. Thank you so much to Haj Gulashi, who says, support your content creators, y'all. Cheers, Denise. Thank you so much, Haj Gulashi. I really appreciate it. Thanks, man. This one is from Brandon Rosen. Thank you so much for sending in a super chat, Brandon. Brandon says, do you think the Inner Circle Pinnacle feud is moving too fast? MJF and Pinnacle should have had a few weeks to run. MJF and Pinnacle should have had a few weeks to run wild before Jericho came back. Also, Blood and Guts should be saved for Double or Nothing. Okay, so here we go. Let's jump into what Brandon just asked here. So, given the fact that Blood and Guts is happening on May 5th, that is the only reason why I wouldn't say that this feud is moving as fast, just because, dude, May 5th is really just a couple of weeks away. I'm looking at my calendar. Really, you're looking at we're like 20 something days away from May 5th. So it's really So it's really, really close. So obviously they got to get this as hot as possible for Blood and Guts. And yeah, I do think that Blood and Guts should be on an actual pay-per-view like Double or Nothing. So, but we know that they had been planning this already, but due to the pandemic, they couldn't do the way that they originally when they wanted to do Blood and Guts. So I don't think they're moving too fast just because that date is literally around the corner. But thank you so much to Brandon for sending in the super chat and asking that question. I very much appreciate that. And in regards to my pitch here, Dagon says Christian Cage versus Kenny Omega could be good. Might be better for TV though, rather than pay-per-view. Yeah, right now, I don't want to see Christian Cage versus Kenny Omega just yet. Like, I'm not really feeling that at the moment. Obviously, my opinion could change once things progress. But at the moment, I don't see it just yet. Nicholas Jacket says, why not a triple threat between Mox, Omega, and Hangman? Feels like they don't know how to take Moxley out and concentrate on Hangman versus Omega. I would rather see Moxley, Omega, and then eventually do Omega, Hangman Page. But yeah, it does kind of feel like they don't really know how to eliminate Moxley from this in a way that doesn't make him look terrible. We have a comment from Sean Harrington who says, I think story-wise, the Elite will eventually confront Hangman and talk to him into not challenging Kenny Omega. And like you said, Page is leading towards Darby. And if Page does challenge Omega, but fail. Exactly. I don't want to see him fail whatsoever. And Redmond Survivor points out that Blood and Guts was meant to be on Dynamite originally, though, so I think they want it on free TV because that's what they had promised. Exactly. That is exactly the reason why. And let's see what else we have here. We have a comment from Bloody Blues who's touching on the Christian subject and says, Christian needs to work his way up the rankings like everyone else. Yeah, and he said that already. He said that on a backstage interview that he did with Dasha. He talked about the fact that he's going to actually earn his way up to becoming a challenger for Kenny Omega or whoever is champion by that point. Alrighty, guys. So let's go ahead and move on from this. So after this, we had Jade Cargill versus Red Velvet. So go ahead and send in your thoughts on what you thought about this match here. But I need to take a second because in this match, I really, really want to put over Red Velvet. I think that we all know that Jade Cargill is the one that, given the way that she looks so impressive and she has improved in the ring. But given that we all know that she's the one that AEW is, really looking to be the next breakout star in their AEW women's division, I like the fact that even though we know that going in, Red Velvet is working these matches where she is like, hey, like the way she does everything, it's like, hey, look at me. I know this match is for Jade Cargill. We know that she's going to get over in this match. We know she's going to win this match, but I'm going to utilize every single minute, every single second that I have in this match to be impressive. In my opinion, Red Velvet was the most impressive in this match. I thought that she came out here with a certain fire that is very, very likable. Like she comes out and I instantly like her and I want to root for her because she comes out and she's explosive when she wrestles. And she was literally working this. She was going 100 miles per hour. And I really, really appreciated that from her. She was doing all of these slaps on Jade Cargill. She did the tope suicida. That was pretty good. There was an awesome spot though too, where Jade actually picks her up and slams her over the barricade. That looked very impressive. And things like that are also helping Jade get over because, she looks great and doing moves like these, spots like these look great for her as well. But I really kind of can't help but to root for Red Velvet. I almost don't always want to see her lose on Dynamite either. I want to see her pick up some wins. Like as a viewer, I'm a little bit more interested in what we're seeing with Red Velvet, even though she hasn't been picking up that many wins on Dynamite. other than that, let's see what you guys are saying. We have another super chat from Brandon. Thank you so much to Brandon, who says, Jade Cargill is getting better, but I'd like to see her work with someone else. Exactly. So she, and I've said this before, but I'll say it again, she is one of those people that would really benefit from working with a lot of, if they were to bring in veteran women, bring in veteran women into the roster, she is somebody that could benefit from that. Also, just having more matches on AEW Dark, on AEW Elevation, on Dynamite, just having more matches continuously, obviously, like anybody, is going to make her a better worker, but she also needs to be in there with opponents that can help her, that can teach her, and all of that, because she is going to be good. And based on what we have seen, there has been a lot of growth, but she does need someone to help her get to that next level, to the level that they want her to be, to the level that she needs to be to, be one of the major focal points of the AEW women's division. So again, she has the look. We've seen her on the mic. She's been getting better and better. The in-ring wise, it just does obviously need to get a lot better. Bloody Blue says, Red Velvet is a workhorse already, reliable and able to work with green talent and put them over. Kudos to her. Exactly. Kudos to her, because I didn't expect all of this from Red Velvet. When we first got introduced to her, I was like, who the hell is this and why should I care? But she gave me a reason to care. She really did. Let's see what else we are saying here. We have a comment from James Croplin, who also points out that Red Velvet has it all: looks, talent, promo, ability, superstar in the making. Yeah, I really hope that they don't sleep on her. I hope that they don't sleep on her by focusing so much on trying to get Jade Cargill over, that they sort of sleep on Red Velvet. I hope that doesn't happen, because she really does scream star potential. And let's see what else we have here. Okay, I'm going through the rest of your guys' comments. This one is from Nicholas, who says, I like Red Velvet, but I think so far up in the rankings is more to put her over Britt Baker. There was no reason for her to lose tonight. Predict Britt Baker winning the title soon. So I know the reason why they had her lose. They don't want Jade to lose. We know that. But again, she really took this moment and she really utilized it by really shining really bright in this match. And let's see what else we have here. This one is from Redmond, who says, it's great, though, that we now have multiple feuds in the women's division and lots of stars breaking out. Jade, Velvet, Ty, Rosa, Britt, Layla, Bunny, Nyla, and Serena back soon from injury. Obviously, things could be better, but they are getting better, progressively better each and every single week. Joseph points out the next week we do have Hikaru Shida versus Ty Conti. I am looking forward to this match. I think that Ty definitely has earned this opportunity, so I'm really excited for all of that. We have a comment from Justin Introvert, who says, the women's division has the best baby faces in AEW. Shida, Riho, Rosa, Kris, Ty, Swole, Rio, Anna. They're building up Red Velvet, and I think they're also build Killian King by the end of this year. I'm excited to see what they do with a lot of the women, that's for sure. And I'm happy that we also got to see Thunder Rosa here tonight. So that was also really good here. All right, guys, let's go ahead and continue on. I know that we can definitely talk about the AEW women's division nonstop, but let's go ahead and talk about this next match, because I am curious as to what you guys kind of thought about everything that played out here today. And we had Anthony Ogogo made his official in-ring debut here on AEW Dynamite against Colt Carter. Right off the bat, commentary puts over a lot of his stats, a lot of his background. I really appreciated this. This was a quick match, one shot to the gut of Carter, and that's it. The ref stopped this match. Ogogo for the win here. Honestly, I know I had some people asking me how I felt about this finish on Twitter, and I have to say that I liked it. I thought that it did really well in terms of making Anthony look impressive, in terms of making him look like the way that he should look. He has this extensive background. So yeah, I do believe that a body shot to somebody's gut, which we know can be very crippling, can actually take out somebody. We know that. We know that because of the MMA. We know that. So obviously, I know some people were saying, oh, it's different when it comes to wrestling, but it worked. It worked very well in this situation. From my opinion, it really did work here. Again, like I said, body shots can cripple a man. And so that one shot to the gut was, I thought, pretty impressive. And along the same lines of what I said with Jade Cargill Hill with Ogogo, he's, again, would benefit so much from working with guys like Christopher Daniels, Kazarian. These are the guys that can help him improve. And he should also be having more matches on Dark, more matches on Elevation, again, just to kind of help him get better in the ring, and that's it. But overall, this was a perfect in-ring debut for Ogogo. At least I was a fan of it. Let's see what you guys thought here. So this one is from Bob Cadmus, who says, gut punch would be a better setup to a finish than the actual finish. Ogogo has a lot of potential. Ogogo really does have a lot of potential and looks really, really great. Stephen Kramer says, Ogogo is not a big deal in the UK. If they are trying to build him up as a big deal in the UK where I'm from, it's incorrect, but I guess the uneducated US audience might buy it. Look, why not have them? They have to build him up. So if they have to, you're not going to have the guy come out and not give him the best possible opportunity to look the best. So I think that they did right by him tonight. Sean Harrington says, I wasn't a fan of this ending. If they were going to do that, they should have had the opponent use blood capsule to put over the referee having to stop the match. Again, I thought it worked in this one, but I could definitely see that a lot of people weren't feeling this. Labor Day says, he looked okay, still green, good footwork, not surprising, but you can see his rough spots and it was best to keep it short. Exactly. So you don't want to only see the rough spots. You want to see the strengths. And that's why I thought that the finish was a nice way to say this guy, yeah, he's not going to be out there wrestling like Kenny Omega, but he's also somebody that is going to be a force to be reckoned with in the near future. So therefore, if you want me to take Anthony Ogogo seriously in the near future, a finish like this definitely worked, because now I'm going to be looking out for those shots. I'm going to be looking out for his punches. I'm going to be looking out for all of that. And now it's set a precedent for his matches. So again, keeping it short was the best call there. So thank you so much to Labor Days for also sending in a comment here. And Jack Hines says, that sold a punch like death, and I loved it. All right, so I think people either really liked this or hated it. So I think some people are just going to be either or on this. Again, it's not something we see every day. So it was different, but you know what? It was what it was. All right, guys. So here we go. Let's go ahead and jump into the next segment. But before I do so, for all of you guys who are in this stream, for those of you who do not know, I now have 3 shows on F4W Online. 3 shows, guys, and I am so stoked about it. So not only will I be here each and every single Wednesday, like I have been, talking about AEW Dynamite, but since NXT has moved on over to Tuesdays, I am now here on Tuesdays recapping NXT, Wednesdays, AEW Dynamite, and Fridays, I'm here talking about Smackdown. 3 totally different worlds, but we come on here and we chat about it, and it's usually a really, really good time. Again, one of my favorite things about my show is that it's very interactive. We get a lot of opinions in on here, and it's a very nice back and forth conversation with all of you guys here. So if you haven't checked out my NXT show or my Smackdown show, feel free to check those out. Those ones are just as fun as this one. If you're having fun, hopefully you are. Alrighty, guys. Let's see. Wait, Haj Galashi says, you gotta hop on Wrestling Observer Live when poor Semptis left solo like yesterday. I didn't know he was solo. Hey, all he has to do is give me a call. Gives me a call and I'm there. But maybe I'll just let him know that I'm available. You know what? I'll do that. I will let him know if he ever needs anybody. I'm available. But there you guys go. That's pretty much what I wanted to plug in. So make sure that you guys, if you're listening to this on the audio version of this, or you're watching the live stream, please make sure you subscribe to F4W Online on YouTube. But here we go, guys. Next segment, Miro. So we all know that Miro's debut on AEW Dynamite and his his overall time spent in AEW necessarily hasn't been the best. We know this. We've been through this. They could have done a whole lot more with him. We get it. Okay, I agree. But now it's time to make things right with Miro. So Miro comes on and basically says he is going after the gold, that anybody with gold better watch out. And that's it. Simple, crystal clear. I like it. Now, here is my idea for this. Now, again, earlier when I was talking about Hangman Page going for the TNT title, one of the names that I mentioned that could also be somebody that could go for the TNT title is Miro. So now it's already been established he's going after the gold. But let's just say that Lance Archer is not in this. Let's just say that they could do a possible matchup between Miro and Darby Allin at Double or Nothing. Let's just say that. I hope that in the next 6 weeks, guys, that's still a lot of time between then and now. 6 weeks of literally giving Miro a bunch of bodies to just beat, just get all of these wins, whether it's on Dark, Elevation, Dynamite, heck, on all 3 shows. Just have them running wild, getting all of these wins, build him up like a monster. He is one of the few guys that you can do that with because he has this great level of intensity. And if you're gonna do something like that with any sort of talent, the perfect talent is Miro. So I would like to see something like this for him, even if it's afterwards. I just want to see him get a bunch of wins, and I really hope that this is the way that we start getting him back on track, start giving him a purpose instead of all the other best friend, best man stuff that he's been doing. I think that we need to definitely go kick it in full gear for Miro and actually start changing him up, making him look like a dominant monster, essentially. So those are my thoughts on that. But let's see what you guys all thought here. This one is from Labor Days, who says, agree 100% on Miro, Denise. Wash the stink off the goofy best man nonsense off of him and blood of defeated foes. Exactly. Because right now, all that he's been doing, it has been goofy. And I personally have zero interest in all of this best friend stuff. Redmond says, I really came to like the Miro best friend story by the end, maybe because the Arcade Anarchy was so much fun. A good finish redeems a lot. The Arcade Anarchy was a blast. I loved the Arcade Anarchy. I came on here and I was so excited to talk about that match when it happened. But that was it. That was all I can remember from that. And the wedding, that was just weird. I mean, yeah. Christopher Newham says, Miro has been booked a lot better than Rusev was. Well, maybe there's some portions of that I could agree with, and some portions of that I can't necessarily completely agree with, because there was a moment where Rusev was really, really hot in WWE, and that was good. Obviously, let's not talk about the Bobby Lashley, Lana angle. Let's not talk about that. I don't even want to remember that. All right, let's see what else we have here, guys. All right, I'm going through the rest of your comments, but I think we are going to go ahead and see the last ones. This one's from Chris Cage, who says, you better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. I'm telling you why. Miro takes your title tonight. I appreciate this comment. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and move on. This one is from all right, next segment. So at the top of this, someone mentioned on here that Jericho had a pretty great match tonight, and I have to agree. I mean, it was a pretty good match considering what we've been seeing, maybe the last couple of weeks from Jericho. This is probably some of the best that we've seen, and this was the match that they were promoting. Obviously, you've had Mike Tyson in this as the special enforcer, Jericho with Sammy on his corner and versus Dax with Cash Wheeler on his corner. Obviously, the Pinnacle and Inner Circle were banned from this, which meant we knew that they were going to come out at some point in time. But there was a lot that kind of happened in this match. But most importantly, what I liked about this match is that it was aggressive. We got to see a nice, aggressive little match between Dax and Jericho. This match started with several punches from Jericho. They went outside, started brawling. Jericho stabs him in the head with a pen. We come back from commercial and they're chopping the hell out of each other. Jericho hits him with a code breaker. And then that is when we see the Pinnacle and the Inner Circle come out. During this, Mike Tyson ends up knocking out Cash Wheeler on the outside. Sammy distracts Chris Jericho. Sammy distracts Dax, and Jericho gets him with the Judas effect for the win. So this was a good segment, a perfect way to continue the feud between Inner Circle and the Pinnacle. I also like the fact that they did a lot of segments prior to this with Mike Tyson. At the top of the show, we had MJF essentially trying to get him to be quote unquote on the right side of history, when in reality, he was simply asking him to sort of cheat and be on his side. He starts calling Mike Tyson Mikey, tells him like, he makes fun of his face tattoo, and just, I like the fact that they did that at the beginning of the show, because then even afterwards, we did have that backstage segment with the Inner Circle and Mike Tyson. And then later on, we find out that Mike Tyson has been made an honorary member of the Inner Circle. So I like the fact that Jericho also finally explained too why they're essentially friends with Mike Tyson, given that that was one of the things that I was complaining about last week, that it really didn't make sense, given the fact that, again, that they weren't friends. The last time Mike Tyson was actually on TV, they had that brawl with the Inner Circle. So again, I like the fact that they actually went back and took the time to explain that. Jericho says that they had a phone call and that they straightened things out, and that Mike Tyson would be there to have his back. So, and he did have his back last week. So overall, I like the fact that they kind of answered a lot of the question marks that we had in there. And let's see what you guys are all saying here. All right, guys. So let's see. I'm going to go through your comments here, and this one is from, all right, let me see what you guys have here. I'm looking through the comments that actually pertain to this topic. And okay, this one is from Christopher, who says that Tyson punch sounded brutal. Dude, yes, bam. You just see Wheeler hit the floor. Dagon points out Mike Tyson, honorary member of the Inner Circle. Steven says Jericho used to be the Dax in this scenario. Now Jericho's the one who struggles to hand. Look, on this match, I would say that Jericho did well in this match. I didn't feel like there was a moment where I thought, oh man, Jericho looks, not good in this match. I didn't feel like that at any point during this match. I really did enjoy his match with Dax. And Labor Day points out, I like that they didn't make Tyson a goof. I appreciate that too. I agree with that as well. All right, guys. So after this, we have a segment with Don Callis, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, and the Good Brothers all in the back. And I love this. I love this because, again, anytime you have Don Callis on the microphone, you know that it is going to be good. But what I specifically liked about this is that we had Callis basically saying, just when you think you've seen it all, you haven't seen anything at all. Then Kenny starts basically saying that, like, oh, the fans wanted us to be just like them. They thought we were one of them, but we're not. I thought that was such a good slap to the face of all the people that have supported Kenny and the Bucks and everybody. So I thought that was a really, really good line there. Young Bucks essentially put the tag team division on alert. Don Callis super kicks the cameraman, and this was a great segment. This was literally just a bunch of guys on their high horse, and I love this. They came across as, I wouldn't want to mess with them. If I saw them out there, I'd be like, no, I ain't getting near them. So this was really good. I really thought that this was really funny. And Haj Galashi says, love this promo. It just had a vibe that worked. Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to put it. It really did have a vibe that worked. Alrighty, guys, before I continue on, friendly reminder, if you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe to F4W Online. Again, whether you're watching the replay, listening to the audio version of this, or watching live, make sure to subscribe. Again, we post like videos almost every single day. I have 3 shows a week on here, so make sure to subscribe and you'll be part of all the shows. It's always a really good time. And let's go ahead and continue on. So Thunder Rosa, she gets a package on the show tonight, basically says that she's going for the AEW women's title and says she's here to take over the world. Glad to hear from Thunder Rosa because we haven't seen her since the Lights Out match. So I'm really glad that we actually got to see Thunder Rosa once again. And we also had a match between Kris Statlander versus Amber Nova. There's really nothing much that I want to say about this, to be honest, other than the fact that this was a fine win for Kris, a nice return. So good for her. This match for me was just there. There wasn't anything that I would say that I absolutely loved. Just happy to see Kris Statlander back, and that's pretty much that. All right. And then we go on to, wow, a lot went down on AEW today. After this, we had the Christian Cage, Tony Schiavone segment. And again, you guys know how it goes. If Tony Schiavone has an interview, we know it's going to be interrupted. And lo and behold, it happened once again. He starts doing the interview with Christian Cage. Team Taz comes out and interrupts and wants to basically know if he is going to be joining Team Taz. Christian then hits him with a really good line, and he says he didn't come to AEW to help him out with his problems. He came to win championships. Then Taz gets him with an even better line and basically tells him that he's never liked him or his buddy that carried his ass. I thought that was such a good line. Like, I literally popped for that. So good moments there. After this, I love this. Christian and Powerhouse Hobbs go at it, and I love this because this was such a good use of Christian Cage here, working with Powerhouse Hobbs, and Hobbs essentially just beating him from the ring to the outside of the ring to the stage. I thought that it made Hobbs look really, really good, and it's been a while since Hobbs has been able to look this good. So I liked this. I thought this was a great use of Christian to, work with some of the younger talent. And again, Hobbs is one of those younger talents. And now next week, we will be seeing Powerhouse Hobbs versus Christian Cage. And let's see if we have any other comments here in regards to this. Once again, guys, if you do want to send in a super chat at any point throughout the show, feel free to send one in and I will read it on the air. But next week, we will be having Shida versus Ty Conti for the title. We will be seeing Powerhouse Hobbs versus Christian Cage. We will be seeing Ricky Starks versus Hangman Page and Trent versus Penta. So we do have a couple of great matches to look forward to next week. But now it is time, guys, to talk about the main event of the night. And this was, when this match was announced, I thought, all right, cool, whatever. I didn't really put that much thought into it. It wasn't one of the matches that I was like, oh, I'm really looking forward to this match. No, but this match ended up being really, really good, really, really entertaining, and I was very happy with the outcome of this match. They did so much in like maybe 20 something minutes that it felt like the time should have been more because it was that good. Like, this felt like this could have actually been on a pay-per-view. So I was very happy with this match, and it felt like a really good way to close the show. But let's kind of talk about some of the things that actually went down in this match. So the top portion of this match, Matt Hardy used the chair a lot on Darby. He even bust him open on his back. The camera zooms in. You even see the circular shape from the chair on his back, and he's bleeding. Then Matt Hardy, and I like this because we see this play out later on in the match. Matt Hardy essentially gets Darby's head inside of the chair and tries to do the twist of fate. But instead, Darby counters that and ends up running the chair right smack into his chest. I thought that was a really phenomenal spot. Then we have Private Party and the Butcher and the Blade come out and help Matt Hardy. But then, in order to help even out the odds, Dark Order and Sting come out to help him out. Then we go to commercial. When we come back from commercial, they are fighting outside of the ring. Darby gets tossed over the barricade, which looked absolutely sick because it was kind of a big leap from where he was at to over the barricade. Then after that, we had Ethan Page, Scorpio Sky, and Lance Archer coming out. But Lance Archer sort of, taunts, kind of scares away Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky, and he ends up looking eye to eye with Sting. So then Archer starts with the blackout and does this all in front of Sting, just smiles at Sting, kind of like showing off, like, this is what I can do. And then after that, we go back to Darby and Matt, who are fighting by the stage area. Darby is about to use the bat on Matt Hardy, but instead Matt Hardy low blows him instead. Then Matt Hardy tries to do the twist of fate with the chair, with Darby's head in the chair once again, and actually succeeds. So I like the fact that we saw him do the attempt at the top of this match, and then we got to actually see him successfully get it in during the later portion of this match. So at this point, when he did the spot here, I really thought the match was over. I thought for a second, oh man, Matt Hardy's gonna win. Like, I didn't see this coming. So then, just when I thought things were over, things were not over. In fact, they then go backstage. They ruin Tony Khan's monitor because Matt Hardy just runs Darby through the desk and his monitor gets knocked out. But then, essentially, Matt Hardy does a leg drop from the top of the ladder to Darby, who was on a table, and he ends up getting a 2 count. Again, I thought it was over there, and it wasn't. Then they made their way back to the stage, and Matt is about to powerbomb Darby off the stage, but instead, Darby low blows Matt Hardy. Darby then goes crazy and just starts hitting him like insanely with the bat, just starts hitting him all over. Several shots. Matt Hardy took several shots with the bat. And then after this, I'm telling you guys, lots went down. Darby ends up climbing that like large steel structure, and he ends up doing the coffin drop onto Matt Hardy, who is on the commentary desk. And that is how he eventually gets the win. So when I tell you that a lot happened in this match, it really, really did, but it became very, very entertaining to the fact that it wasn't completely like, they didn't stretch it out to where it felt boring. They had a lot of fun spots. They utilized the space a lot. We got to see them in the ring, outside the ring, on the stage, backstage, by commentary. So they kind of went they did a lot in this, amount of space. And this match was really, really good. A great way to close out AEW Dynamite, especially considering that they did not have competition this week. So what did you guys think of this match? Let's go ahead and see what you guys all thought here. We have a comment from, from Nicholas, who says, good show put on by Matt Hardy today with the passing of his father this week. Matt is a true performer, being able to put back anything personal to give us all a great match. Exactly. The Hardys did lose their dad this week, which is very, very unfortunate. So yeah, I honestly, you brought up a good point. Like, he still came out and obviously put on a hell of a match and all of that. And let's see what else we have here. We have a comment from Christopher, who says, great match. I'd love to see Darby and Sting with purple face paint. And let's see what else we have. Joseph says, I give Matt credit for still doing this match. I think this was filmed maybe 2 or 3 days after he lost his dad. Dagon says they've been teasing breaking up the announce table for weeks now, even joking about the Spanish announce table breaking first on BTE. I definitely popped for this finish, and I'm going to go see what else you guys are saying here. Martin says the chaos and hardcore shots, can't go wrong with that as the main event. No, you can't. You really can't. Redmond says the AEW announce table lost its virginity. First time it's ever been put through on AEW. Cherries have been popped. Hodge Galashi says, Cage 100% going to be teaming with Cage one day. Probably versus Hobbs and Starks. Don't confuse me with the cage and the cage. You either go with Christian Cage or you go with Brian. At this point, if you say cage, I'm not gonna know what cage you're talking about. Alrighty, guys, I'm gonna get some final comments in here, and let's see what else we have. Any final comments? I think for the most part we covered everything. Redmond says it was a really fun Attitude Era style brawl, and that was pretty much it, guys. Alrighty. That was our show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to listen to this recap reaction of AEW Dynamite. Please make sure to come back next week. And reminder that I will be back this Friday to talk about Smackdown. So that should be a lot of fun. But once again, come back Tuesdays for NXT, Wednesdays for AEW Dynamite, and Friday for Smackdown. Keep coming. Love you all. Do not forget to follow me on Twitter and or on Instagram @ Denise Salcedo. Until next time, I will see you all later. Also, do not forget to give this video a like and drop a nice comment in the comments section. Goodbye, everyone. Take care.